Hello and welcome to the first edition of Catching Up with Coach. This will be our weekly series where we spotlight one head coach from the McHenry University coaching staff. And we're taking care of two sports today as we're joined by men's and women's swimming coach James Tierney. Coach Tierney, thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Scott. I'm looking forward to it and happy to share, whatever kind of things that I can.
Coach, you've been on staff now going into your fifth season. You started this program from scratch after coming from Northwestern. We'll talk about Northwestern in a little bit, but let's highlight what's gone on with McHenry in the water the first 5 years. And to use a pun, you've made quite a splash in NCAA Division II circles. Keep rising in terms of final standings at the NCAA Division II Nationals. Last year, you guys are primed for a run, possibly for a national championship, off to the great start on day one, and then COVID hits. Talk about the sudden end to the season and kind of what it meant to not only you, but your team.
Yeah, it was an interesting finish to the year without a doubt. We came off tremendous GLVC championships, and I think we won something like 14 of the 19 swimming events for the men, and broke numerous conference records. I believe 9 in all, and so that was so exciting and such a fun and spirited championships for us. We came off that, and I really didn't know how the team would react again, our national competitors a month later. I really wasn't sure. I knew they were hungry and I knew that they wanted to continue to move up the ladder, but we had some guys going into the championships with #1 rankings, and our team had finished the last poll #1. We'd never been there yet. So I really wasn't sure how they would manage it all. And we really just talked about getting better. And I never put winning a championship as our goal. I just told them, let's go and compete and battle every day, every event, and see what happens once things get rolling. And that first day was incredibly exciting. We obviously had our 2 championships, 1 individual and 1 relay, and those were our first ever. So that got us pretty excited, and really just looking forward to the rest of the meet. And then that second day, we actually had the prelim session on day 2, and we ended up with more what they call A finalists, top 8, than anybody else in the field. So barring something unusual like a disqualification, it seemed like we were going to maybe even pad our lead a little bit more and go into the halfway point, leading the men's team title. So, having that grind to a halt was just something that even I couldn't pull from in my experiences, right, to help them out with. And there was more emotion than I'd been around in a long time in a competition type setting. And, a lot of it was just mending, the hurt and helping the athletes deal with it, manage it, if possible, put it in perspective. But it was really tough and especially hard for our seniors, for people like Sydney Ray and Matia and Luca, and the people that had helped me from that first year when we were not very deep, not very talented. We had some talent, just not a lot of it. And Millie as well on the women's side. So, that was just tough because I wanted them to see themselves finish out a championship. A couple of these guys, the seniors, we think would have been on winning relays, maybe more than one. And that would have been an awful cool thing for them to finish up their careers, right? To have a national championship and then potentially the team title as well. So it was a difficult thing, but, we got through it. And in the end, it was, a lot of feeling good about what we accomplished, right? It was, it wasn't complete, but what we did a tremendous job on. I was really proud of the men and the women.
You touched on so many highlights last year. The number one ranking, the performance at the GLVC meet, getting ready for nationals, the qualifiers, and having that strong first day. Talk about going back to 5 years ago. Did you envision the quick success that this program has had?
I really didn't. I really didn't know what to expect, to be honest, because I've never done this before, and I was new to Division II. So, it's almost like having blinders on, and just, we just had the Kentucky Derby, right? I'm from Louisville, so I'm into that, and so it's like coming out of the gate, maybe with blinders and somewhat by yourself, and not knowing anything about where the competition is, and maybe they're way in front of you or whatever, and just kind of having to blaze our own trail. And that was a big part of it, and I think what we did well was we recruited good people first and foremost. And I owe so much to that first full class, because they just put their heart and soul into the program. They gave so much to me, personally, me as their coach, as well as to McKendree University. And I think that was significant. We stressed being a team. We stressed being a team that's going to earn its respect as competitors, as students, as hopefully model citizens on the campus, and all those kind of things. We talked about that all the time. And I really think that it was sort of that building of the character and building of the team unit, where they really cared about each other and ultimately just loved each other and would do anything for each other, that made our team stronger than maybe it would have been, normally. And so, again, just really proud of how much some of these athletes raised their bar competitively. And a lot of it was because that they wanted to contribute to the team, and they wanted to, whether it be points or whatever it might be, they wanted to help the team out, and they didn't want to let their teammates down. And I think that was really the key to our success.
Now, Coach, you alluded to having a Division I background. Before you came to McKendree, you were at Northwestern for more than 2 decades, had a pretty successful run there just outside of Chicago. Talk about how that experience helped shape your coaching strategies and abilities when you came to McKendree.
Well, I had a tremendous experience there, and got to work with some great athletes, and was around some great coaches. And I think that was a big part of it. Was I learned so much, as a coach. I think if you're most successful coaches, I believe, learn a lot from the people around them. And I got to be connected with so many tremendous coaches out there. Some of them I'm very close to nowadays. Some of them are some of the best swimming coaches in the world. They're going to be on our Olympic staff this next year, and they're all willing to share. And that's one of the great things about our sport, our profession. I don't know as much about the other sports, but we really come together and share and kind of give to the community. And so I learned a lot. The Big Ten was incredibly competitive. But again, there were just some bright coaches and coaches that figured out some tremendous ways to get their athletes to be successful. And, and I benefited in a lot of ways from that. I mean, I got to be on 3 international trips wearing the USA gear, and that's about as high an honor in my mind as I could possibly have. And, I got to see various parts of the world because of the success that some of my athletes had. So, I owe a lot to them as well, that they really helped me out, and it just gave me opportunities to learn about the sport and life and how to help manage people and things like that. I really think, especially nowadays, our jobs are as much people manager as they are coaches.
Coach, obviously COVID-19 is the subject right now. Obviously, it shut down the end of your season last year, and it's affecting what you're doing early on this year. Just starting workouts, how has that situation affected the way you've gone about planning your practices, preparing for the seasons? Obviously, things are completely different right now.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Scott. And I think, if you look at how we fill up our day as coaches, it's way different than it was 12 months ago right now. Back then it was all about your coaching and your planning the season and your recruiting. And now we've got this other, element that is huge. And in some cases almost has a priority over the other part. But, I think the biggest thing is knowing that we have to be flexible and that we have to adapt, right? One of my favorite Yogi Berra expressions is, when you come to a fork in the road, floor it. And we might be coming to a new fork in the road every week, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to pick our path to go, and we're going to go down there with, enthusiasm and gusto, and try to see, where we could take this team this year. And so, in some ways I'm looking forward to the challenges of it. And I want the team to embrace it as well, right? At some point, we're going to come out on the other side of this, and I hope we're all smarter from it. And maybe we've learned a lot as people, right? And how to take care of each other and how to watch out for each other and pick each other up. And I think we're getting some valuable lessons right now if we're smart enough to observe and pick up on these lessons. I think it could make, our students as well as our coaches just better people going forward. So that's how we're approaching it right now.
Well, Coach, looking ahead to the 2020-21 season, do you guys have any goals? Do you have any aspirations? What are you looking forward to out of this team, the 15 that McKendree will put in the pool?
Well, we are very excited, and we don't still quite know exactly everybody that's going to be here. We had some pretty talented student athletes that have not been able to get here yet. If they get here this year, we still don't know. So there's some unknowns about our squad still. But I like who we have. I think we've got a wonderful group, and we've got a mixture of some veteran athletes like Xander Skinner and people that certainly could lead us to some great things. And we've got, returning GLVC Swimmer of the Year, but we also have a lot of young, eager talent, both divers and swimmers. And so I'm excited about our potential. We don't talk a whole lot about winning championships. We just talk about getting better every week and trying to be at our peak come February for GLVC and then March for NCAAs. And, that's how we look at it. No one gives you any bonus points based on what you did the year before. You're starting over again, and we still haven't won anything. So I don't think we're the favorite to do anything this year. But let's see what we can do to maybe accomplish some things that we've never done before. So that's what I'm looking for.
You talk about getting better week after week, and certainly watching your team perform the last several years. They've been ready for that GLVC tournament, and they've been ready for those NCAAs. So I think they're following your words almost to the T there.
Well, let's hope so. Again, they help me out all the time, and they inspire me, and I'm looking forward to seeing the same this year from the group. So I think there's a lot to accomplish, and in our sport, they could have individual accomplishments and individual titles as well. And so I think a lot of people are looking at those type of things, and we have some people with international aspirations with the 2021 games coming up in Tokyo this summer. So whatever I could do to help some of our either US or international athletes find success in their home countries, then I'm thrilled to do that.
Well, Coach, that's some great content right there. I'm going to steal your yogiism right now. We've come to a fork in the road. We're going to take it and go a little bit different direction right now. Obviously, you've been coaching this team now going on 5 years. Do you have any superstitions either before or during a match that we may not know about?
I would say not a lot during a competition, to be honest. Maybe there's some minor things like, starting off my day or something like that. But I don't worry about, putting one pant leg on before the other or anything like that. But, certainly if I, do something like, go for a bike ride or get some exercise and we have a great day, then I might think, hey, maybe I should try that again and see if it leads to similar success. But, it's a lot of ways, every competition is different. And so, it's almost like reading it and reading the mood of the team and their energy and all that. And sometimes you take different tacks to see if you could push the team and elevate the team up a little bit. But you never know. I might pick up some still. I'm still learning new tricks. So,
Do you have any kind of personality traits or skills that maybe we don't know about, your team doesn't know about, something you could share that's kind of PG rated?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like I've not excelled in a lot of things like golf and, things that I tried, music, things like that in my life. And so probably way more things that I'm not good at that I'm good at. But, I think, I like being around people a lot, and I enjoy, interacting with people, whether it be professionally or personally and things like that. I come from a large family. That's probably something a lot of my team doesn't know. There were 8 children in our family. Wow. And, your old-fashioned large Catholic family, right? And we grew up around a lot of similar people, like that. And so that's kind of a cool thing. And connecting with my siblings. I had 3 other siblings that competed, at the collegiate level. And so that was kind of cool. I've got a younger sister who's a highly successful coach, and she's on the staff at Ohio State right now. So, it's kind of in our blood. My brother was a long time and still works in sports, journalism. And so, there's a lot of sports discussions in our family, let's put it that way. So, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to, banter about those things throughout the family.
It sounds like it. Hey, I'm with you. I'm the youngest of 4 boys in a Catholic family. I was the one that got picked on all the time.
So. Yeah. Well, not only that, we had a split family where half of our siblings almost went to the University of Kentucky, and then several others went to the University of Louisville. So there were some, battles back and forth with the annual basketball games each year. But it was a lot of fun, I love the passion that family members have for their schools and their sports and so forth. And it's always an enjoyable getting together for things like that.
I lived in Kentucky for 13 years, so I know all about that rivalry, right down the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, but it's a good one.
Well, Coach, once again, great content. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us. It was good catching up with you, Coach Jim Tierney.
Well, thanks, Scott. I appreciate it, and happy to help, and love this Bearcat family. And as always, go Bearcats.
Well, good luck to you and your teams in 2020 and 21. We can't wait to see you in the pool.
Thank you so much.
That's been our inaugural edition of Catching Up with Coach. We've been talking with Jimmy Tierney from Swimming and Diving. We'll have another Bearcat head coach next week when we feature them on our Catching Up with Coach segment. I'm Scott Cummings, and as always, it's a great day to be a Bearcat.